When I first arrived in Texas, the horizon seemed endless. It was as if the land breathed with the dry wind, carrying the scent of feed, dust, and history. It was there, in the heart of the Texas Panhandle, that I found one of the most impressive places in global agribusiness, the largest cattle feedlot on the planet, known as Cactus Feeders. It's impossible not to be amazed. Imagine miles and miles of corrals, aligned with military precision, each housing hundreds of cattle in their finishing phase. There are 500,000 head of cattle, spread across units that operate like true agro-industrial cities. I had always heard that Texas was the symbol of American rural power, but being there changes everything. You feel the size, the weight, and the responsibility of feeding an entire country, and, indirectly, the world. Every sound, every feeding cycle, every truck loaded with grain is part of a choreography that keeps this giant in constant motion. As I walked along the red dirt roads, I thought about how Texan ranching blends tradition and innovation. Cactus Feeders is both a ranch and a factory, a living organism moving to the rhythm of technology and efficiency. It was the beginning of my journey to understand how this colossal machine works, and how it changed the very concept of cattle feedlots around the world. The story of Cactus Feeders began in the 1970s when a visionary man, Clarence Scharbauer, realized that the future of cattle ranching would lie in a new model of confinement. At that time, the idea of large concentrations of cattle in controlled spaces was still in its infancy. The revolution Scharbauer wanted to bring to the industry was simple but bold: optimize the feeding and health of the animals to increase productivity without compromising quality. In the beginning, it was just a few acres of land, with a complete focus on the well-being of the cattle and balanced nutrition. But quickly, the model of intensive feeding began to expand, adapting to the growing demand for beef in the United States and around the world. Every batch of cattle passing through the Cactus Feeders corrals was guaranteed to be fed with the best ingredients and monitored by technologies that provided precision at every step of the process. What started as a small family operation grew into a global reference. Today, Cactus Feeders has feedlot units spread across a vast area of land in Texas and Kansas, covering more than 800,000 hectares. They process about 1.5 million head of cattle annually, with an impressive capacity to fatten up to 2,000 animals per day. As demand increased, Cactus Feeders not only expanded physically, but also introduced new feeding technologies, health control systems, and performance monitoring tools. Every step in the evolution of Cactus Feeders was based on the same principle of efficiency and quality that began with Scharbauer, which is why it grew exponentially. As I walked through the concrete and dusty corridors of Cactus Feeders, it was impossible not to notice that cattle ranching there has become a science. Every operation is monitored with almost surgical precision, and data is at the heart of it all. Automatic scales weigh the cattle without stopping the herd. Feeding sensors record how much each lot consumes and automatically adjust the blend of grains and supplements. Feed here isn't just food. It's a mathematical formula designed to turn energy into meat with minimal waste. Control is managed in real time by software systems that track weight gain, water consumption, and even the animal's body temperature. Data analysts can detect if a steer is starting to get sick even before visible symptoms appear. This fusion of animal science, engineering, and information technology has made Cactus Feeders a model of efficiency. While many still picture the lone cowboy as the symbol of the American West, here the hat and rope share space with drones, tablets, and algorithms. Aerial images captured by drones are used to evaluate animal distribution, identify muddy or overheated areas, and even assist in more humane cattle handling. The goal isn't just to fatten cattle faster, but to understand meat production as a data-driven ecosystem. Every decision, from the type of feed to the length of confinement, is guided by real-time information. The result is a more predictable, sustainable, and safe production model, one that redefines what it means to be a ranch in the 21st century. At the massive feedlot of Cactus Feeders, sustainability is not just a concept, it's an integral part of their daily operations. In a farm of this magnitude, where thousands of animals are fed, monitored, and treated every day, environmental management needs to be carefully planned to ensure that production doesn't overload natural resources. Starting with water, an essential resource for the growth and health of cattle, Cactus Feeders invests in water recycling and treatment systems. Instead of letting this valuable resource flow uncontrollably, much of the water used for washing facilities and irrigating pastures is recycled and reused, reducing environmental impact and saving operational costs. Additionally, the company has implemented technologies that minimize methane emissions, a greenhouse gas released during the digestion process of ruminants. Cactus Feeders developed a balanced feeding system and dietary supplements that not only improve the animal's health, but also help reduce the amount of methane expelled. In a global context where climate change is a growing concern, this approach is an example of how agribusiness can adopt more sustainable practices. Cattle waste, such as manure and food scraps, is also not discarded. It is carefully treated and used for biogas generation and organic fertilization for pastures. This circular economy ensures that nothing goes to waste and that the property is as resource efficient as possible. Thus, Cactus Feeders is not only a giant in agribusiness, it's a prime example of how innovation and respect for the environment can go hand in hand. The future of cattle ranching, as they demonstrate, must be increasingly sustainable without losing sight of quality and productivity. Cactus Feeders is more than just a large feedlot. It represents a fundamental pillar of the rural economy in Texas and the United States. With its enormous production capacity, the company not only supplies domestic meat markets, but also exports to various countries around the world. The impact of this operation is reflected in several areas of the economy, from job creation to the movement of international markets. Cactus Feeders directly employs thousands of people, from the workers who feed the cattle to the technicians who monitor every aspect of the production process. These dedicated professionals play a vital role in a production chain that never stops and requires precision at every step to maintain its efficiency. But the company's impact goes beyond the feedlot's walls. Local businesses, such as those supplying feed, agricultural equipment, and transportation services, depend on Cactus Feeders to keep their operations running. The transportation sector is undoubtedly one of the most benefited. Trucks and trailers travel the country to ensure that the meat reaches the markets in the most efficient way possible. The size of Cactus Feeders' operation also positively impacts the global economy. Brazil, for example, one of the world's largest beef producers, competes directly with the United States in the international market. Cactus Feeders, with its large-scale production and superior quality, has been a strong competitor, helping to set global meat prices. This healthy competition raises the standard of quality and innovation in the sector, benefiting not only consumers, but also producers. Moreover, Cactus Feeders is one of the main drivers of a virtuous cycle in the agricultural economy, where innovation, technology, and significant investments are required to ensure efficient and sustainable production. It has become a benchmark for the global livestock industry, influencing even public policies related to livestock and food production. As the world faces increasingly complex challenges related to population growth, climate change, and demands for more sustainable food, livestock farming, especially on a large scale, will need to reinvent itself. This is where the future of large operations like Cactus Feeders comes into play, which are investing not only in efficiency, but also in greener and more sustainable practices. On the horizon, new technologies promise to revolutionize livestock farming. Among the most promising innovations are precision feeding systems, which adjust each animal's diet in real time, taking into account its health status, weight gain, and genetic traits. This allows meat production to be even more efficient with a smaller environmental footprint. In addition, biotechnology is already at work in the field of animal genetics, creating cattle breeds that are more adaptable, disease-resistant, and with better feed conversion rates. That is, turning less feed into more meat. This has the potential to significantly reduce the use of natural resources like land and water. Feedlot operations like Cactus Feeders are also increasingly betting on renewable energy solutions, such as solar panels and biogas, to reduce their dependence on conventional energy sources and minimize their carbon emissions. The use of biofuels derived from cattle organic waste is an emerging possibility to complement the energy production process sustainably. But the future isn't just technological. Conscious consumption of meat is also gaining traction. Trends toward more sustainable diets, such as vegan and flexitarian, are putting growing pressure on the meat industry to adopt even more responsible practices. Therefore, transparency in production practices and the traceability of meat back to its origin are becoming increasingly crucial. Nevertheless, despite all these challenges, the future of livestock farming and Cactus Feeders is promising. The growing demand for animal protein, combined with technological innovations and sustainable practices, will allow the industry to evolve, keeping meat production as an essential part of the global diet. For Cactus Feeders, this means continuing to invest in innovation, efficiency, and, of course, more environmentally friendly practices. And so, we've reached the end of our journey through the world's largest cattle feedlot, Cactus Feeders. Here, we've learned how tradition and technology work hand in hand, creating a more efficient and sustainable ranching industry with a global impact that goes far beyond Texas. But our exploration of the rural world is just beginning. If you found this colossal operation fascinating and want to learn more about the impact of large farms and ranches around the world, be sure to subscribe to Celebrities Farm. Here, we'll take you on a unique journey through some of the largest and most impressive agricultural properties on the planet. In our next video, we'll explore farms and ranches from other regions of the world, uncover their stories, challenges, and innovations that are shaping the future of agriculture. So don't forget, like this video, share it with your friends, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. See you in the next video.